Bro, stepped in clean, 2-step, 1 bop, yeah, right into the beamer. Love's overrated, can't just gal, so I keep to myself like I was a phenom.
Alright, people, yo, let's jump right into the conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? But how you been, man?
I've been alright.
Let me introduce the guest to my guest speaker today.
Yeah, my name is Trizz. I go by Trizz the engineer.
So I'm saying, if you need an engineer in Birmingham, near the central area, you hit up my guy. I'll drop his Instagram, socials, all of them things there. Do you know what I'm saying? Work with couple artists. So if you're looking for an engineer that meets your quality with, you know, everything, you can see the studio right now. It's a vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like them bust down studios that man be going to with like a bando. It's not that thing. It's a nice studio. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, fam.
Something that's like the underground urban.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the type of vibe I would give it.
And it's like it gives you a chance to kind of I believe there's no way you can have like true creative expression if the vibe isn't right in the studio and the engineer isn't right. And I can vouch for you saying that. Yeah. You know, once you step in the studio with a guy that not only records people but knows a lot about music, you know, can actually listens to a lot of music,
like understands the actual structure of a song.
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say? And it's like I have so many artists come in that know how to do the whole shebang, but it's like you just lack that one thing.
Exactly, and it's like being that support system for big artists or any artist, because a lot of men will come into studio and they don't even know what a bar is or a verse is. And if an engineer's telling you, drop another verse, he's just saying, yeah, calm, we'll just keep spitting, but he's not really clocking what he's getting asked for. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's about building that kind of relationship with the artist and the engineer, and that's so important because set man will be in a studio, and they won't really be chatting to the engineer, like getting what they want from them. Like I'll make a tune and I'll be like, yo, I want this bit, I want my ad-libs to have a bit more reverb, I want a bit more delay, so it fills that space.
I like when people ask for things like that, Carl, when it shows that you kind of know what you want out of your own music.
And then it gives you more confidence in that creation, do you know what I'm saying?
It's like, it's not everything's getting left to me. I don't mind it being left to me, but it's like sometimes I want the artist to have their own sort of mind. And add their own sort of creative expression
definitely
to their own music.
Definitely. Because then you can take pride in, I've worked with a versatile artist. Yeah. If you're an engineer and you're working with drill artists, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. But potentially, when you step into a room with a dancehall artist, or let's not say dancehall, let's say like a wavier type artist or someone that sings a lot more, use less effects.
More melodic.
Exactly. You might struggle a bit to kind of cater to their style. Potentially,
I think, when I first started, I struggled with melodic artists. Like, even with Caleb, Caleb was like,
shout
out to Muggs, though. Keep doing your thing, my bro. But on the G team, when I first started working with Muggs, I thought it would have been a walk in the park, but then because I realized how built different he is, as a person and as a creator.
Because I know for a fact, sorry to cut you off, but Muggs is a person that when I work with him, it's really good because you can really see what he's trying to get out of his music. Like he'll make something and he'll be like, he'll kind of break down each individual step into creating that song. And I feel like a lot of people not only don't have the ability to do that, they kind of shy away from it because they feel like, oh, this is a bit too much, or man just trying to jump in the booth, drop something. Yeah. But that's when that caliber of artist kind of gets discovered, where it's like, even you can be a drill artist, but when you have that level of depth in your music, just like a football team has depth, you get me? You can take off Partey and put on another CDM. Unfortunately, that's not the case right now for the Gunners. but back to what I was saying, when an artist has more depth, he can take off one thing and put in another, and kind of just start churning the potion. Yeah, you can start getting a lot more out of what you would potentially get.
How do I say it? You'll get more you'll get more out of what you was originally looking out of you. I kind of lost
from what you was originally looking for.
Don't worry, I got you. I just couldn't figure out the word.
Don't worry, man. It happens.
And I feel like that's a big important thing because it's like you're not just stuck in a rut.
Exactly.
You're not stuck in that same.
Fuck. Boy, I basically try speaking to the very top of it as well.
Yeah. So you're not stuck in like a rut. You're not stuck in like a situation where you feel like you're just here. Yeah. You haven't gone up or you haven't gone down. You just stayed.
You just kind of maintained.
You don't want to, and you want to maintain, but you don't want to be a standstill.
100%. Because as an artist, I feel like maintaining is a big thing. But let's say you're already at a very high echelon, then I guess maintaining makes sense, right?
Yeah, of course.
Let's say like nothing was the same. If Drake kept maintaining after that, which he did, he's not really gonna go down. Kanye after graduation, he maintained. You can't really keep going above them type of levels. It's kind of unrealistic. But as a small artist growing, you're not really going to be maintaining because you want to keep elevating and learning new things, and you are even open to these resources and things. So it's all about just taking that next step to learning. But as an engineer, I'm just thinking about some good questions for you. What is your best advice to an up and coming artist that's looking at music and might be like, you know what?
He wants to be independent, like do the engineering thing themselves, or like.
We'll talk about engineers first because you're an engineer. Then we'll talk about artists. So what do you think? Someone's looking at it like, yo, I want to take this step into actually using Logic, FL, these softwares, buying my own interface, learning how to use an interface, a MIDI setup, keyboards, playing piano potentially into production. But let's start off with engineering. What was your best advice to someone out there?
The best advice? Okay, with engineering now, it's not a thing that can just be taught to you because everybody has a different preference and a different style of mixing. Some people start with the EQs and the compressors. Some people start with something completely different. So like, the one thing I would say to a young engineer is learn the basics of what it means to be an engineer of mixing. Yeah. So equalization, compression, delay, reverb, de-essing, and even spreaders that give that overall, it gives the vocals a bit more width and everything. It makes them more thicker.
Yeah. 100. So for anyone that back home doesn't know, kind of explain, okay, obviously, but a lot of people know what reverb is and delay is, but just break down reverb, delay, and EQ for someone that might be looking at these terms and kind of frightened by this.
EQ is a plugin that you put on your voice, and there's different sort of dials going from a high pass to a low pass, and even your mids and everything. But you mainly use your mids and more of a low pass because you want to take out most of the low end in your voice. Okay. So it doesn't seem like oh no, you was in a very hollow place recording it. Okay. So it doesn't seem like you was in a very.
So essentially, it's more about like getting the frequencies on the voice channel correct, like
hitting those sweet spots with the frequencies, taking out all the unnecessary shit that's in your mix and everything. Compression, it's kind of similar, but it's more like you're controlling the attack and release of how hard the compression is hitting the vocal.
Okay.
And then you hold it to a specific threshold.
Yeah.
So if I hold it, for example, I do a mix for somebody now, and my threshold is 20 decibels. So I know that I want to raise my gain between 10 and 15. Okay. To try and keep a sweet spot. And if it's a drill song, you'd want your attack or release to be kind of fairly quicker. Yeah. So like, it has more time to hit the bar and everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Much more prominent.
Okay.
And like, obviously delay and reverb, it all speaks in itself. Like your reverb gives you that oomph in your voice.
So it's like you can change your reverb as well to sound like you're in a bigger room, or you're in a smaller room, or the different conditions to achieve a different type of voice.
Yeah, I would recommend for any engineers to use a big plate reverb. Okay. Use a big plate reverb because like you can really get an overall feeling. And then if I was you, boss it as well. Yeah. That's for anyone that uses Logic. If you use Logic and you know about bosses, use a boss for your.
That's just to put more plugins, right?
Nah, like a boss is a more easier way and it drains less CPU.
Okay, that's what. Okay, interesting. So like, interesting. I used to use FL, but I used to just rack everything into the different channels.
Sometimes your CPU will just
overload. If you
can't hack it, bro.
Yeah, 100.
So like, bosses is a more efficient way to save CPU and even your battery, bro.
100. Like, so all these things, if you're looking at it as a potential engineer or someone that wants to jump in it, you know, these terms, just look it up and it's easy to get into in terms of just. As long as you're around the right crowd and you got friends that are willing to help you and record and they want to do their thing. I mean, you're helping each other and learning, and that can just level your thing up further and further. Cause I feel like in the music scene now, producers definitely get their shine, but engineers, there's not much light on you can be an engineer. And I feel like it's one of the most important things. Like if I go to the studio and I'm rapping and there's two engineers and one is clearly more able, he's gonna get me a much better product, and that's a fact because he's got the experience, he knows how to play with the vocals, he's got the better plugins, he's probably got better equipment. But let's just talk down to the experience that he has. I know for a fact he's gonna give me a much more refined, accurate product that I want. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? And Kanye kind of brang light to producers way more. You know, a lot of artists out here like Pharrell, J. Cole.
The thing is, he brought light to producers, but I feel like he brought light to also the engineering side of it
with the stem player.
With the stem player, but also like it just amazes me how he has things from 2003.
Yeah, it's mad.
And the production level on there is insane.
That's what
because like what we have now, Kanye defo didn't have that shit.
Exactly.
He didn't have that, and it's like that is probably the best example of making the most of what you got.
100.
And the fact that your production level is that high, and it's made in
scary.
2003.
It's scary.
And
because
things
I
in the
listened
90s
to
weren't
his
even that crisp.
100. Because I was listening to I Wonder, and that sampled from My Song by I forgot the keys' name. I've got it here. It's literally right here. Labi Sifre.
You listened to it
Labi
yesterday?
Sifre. Yeah, I was playing that yesterday, and I was just like, he took that track. If you don't know about that track, listen to I Wonder by Kanye, and then listen to My Song by Labi Sifre. Banging song. But like, you can just see, you know, his production mindset, taking that sample and song and then creating something so crazy. Creating I Wonder, one of his biggest songs.
It catered to a very big part in his life as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because that graduation, obviously College Dropout was probably the main album I'd say that he was like just hitting it, bro. But Graduation, like, it's because some artists very like let's say use RD and Digga D,
yeah.
Like Double Tap Diaries from Digga D had kind of a vibe and a flow, and like it had some type of course, a path in terms of music. Some song like What's Love on Double Tap Diaries is talking about, you know, what's love if I don't know the feeling. Like I can understand a young boy from the roads having trouble with loving girls and loving himself. Yeah. So I felt that project.
I feel like that's something that most niggas on roads struggle with.
Yeah.
I feel like most niggas on roads struggle with an identity battle.
Yeah, exactly. And like
with an actual identity battle, and it's like they've been conditioned to a point where if it's by the elders or it's by the so-called friends that they're your dogs on the block, like I feel like them men who get conditioned like that for so long and for so many years, it kind of makes them lose sight of who they really are. They really feel like that's all they can do. And it's like, I've worked with a lot of artists in Birmingham, and it's like the rap, from a musical perspective, your talent is undeniable, but I know for a fact there was something else other than music that you had that had some sort of relevance to you. That something that you could take that and use it to offer something in life.
And they're kind of like, it's not even like they don't know they have it.
Yeah.
But it's like there's less pride in wanting to expose that. Sometimes it's vulnerability. They don't want to expose their vulnerability. Because people, I feel like a huge part of succession for some of the like go artists, maybe like not the mainstream ones, because they could kind of make like not pop songs, but like I say, H&M music.
Yeah.
You know, but being vulnerable within yourself and exposing yourself not only to yourself but to the world, and truly allowing yourself to have that 100% creative direction, really having like the ability to create something and be like, this is what I want to do with it.
It's a scary choice.
This is how I'm going to take it.
It's a very scary choice to make.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a point that it's a decision you would have to make when you reach that certain point as an artist. Like, if you want your fans to feel you, and that's one thing I kind of clocked, if you want your fans to feel you, bruv, you got to kind of give them. You kind of got to give them that. You got to give them that ammunition to have that feeling for what you feel for your music.
100%.
And it's like, I've seen artists that did have music that had such a meaning, you know, but because they didn't see the meaning to their own music, like
it's so interesting that you say that, because some people will be like, how the flip would you not know the meaning to your own music? But dead ass, I've been in a situation or a part of my life, and I've made a song, and because people don't realize that subconscious mind is really talking as well. Like when you're writing, you're literally writing, you're like thinking things and writing them down, but these thoughts are built up from somewhere. So I've made tracks and gone back to them and realized things I'm saying about that part of my life, and I'm realizing, this is how I felt and this is what I meant, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, wow.
It's mad.
It's like your subconscious mind left that there for you to rediscover once you move on from it. Like, if you go through some deep shit in your life and you can come back to it and kind of rekindle that fire.
Yeah.
But back to the point you was making, and it's just sad to see a lot of young artists kind of following the hype rather than discovering their own sound. And by them being vulnerable, they're not only doing that for themselves, they're allowing like a wave of young people to feel vulnerable,
to follow in that same direction that
and cause a huge kind of moment in history. I feel like Grime did it very well, where Grime was like, it weren't like grime was a certain thing. You don't have to be a bad man to be on grime. You don't have to do certain things. And obviously, if you was on them things, obviously street cred is a thing. You know, rap comes from the streets, and having street cred is definitely an important thing.
It's kind of what makes those sort of artists who they are as well. Like,
I feel like you've seen a lot of it as well. Like a lot of artists that you might know that potentially in jail or in situations now, and you look back and you're like, raw, there was so much talent there, so much ability.
Yeah.
And as an engineer, you're kind of watching these things. Like you see so much of it, so it's not like you become numb to it, but it's like, wow, every day I'm seeing this new artist. He's got this about him. He's got this style. He's got this rhythm. He's got this flow. He's got this character, this pizzazz. And you're watching them all go past and not really able to connect with who they are inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a battle.
I've seen a lot of artists that have just, what's the word? Misguided, fam. Misguided, bro. Like, and I'm talking like, they had everything what you said they have. But if you leave them to make a decision about their own career, they can't do it. They can't make that decision. Some of them don't know the own meaning of their music or anything. And they just become you just become a very mediocre artist with that sort of attitude towards music. You just become a very mediocre person. People will think you're hard and everything. Yeah. But it's like you will always be regarded as the artist
who never hit that.
Who didn't take that next step.
Yeah, 100%.
In terms of take.
You know like, what I feel like had that for me, but it wasn't like he did. It was because he didn't take the next step. But it was maybe what was going on in his life, and I didn't really follow up too much. But you remember Benny Banks?
Yeah.
I feel like he was one of the hardest rappers. Like I feel like he would have contended with Pot of Paper if he was dropping them kind of projects and kind of like connecting with his group, like his audience a bit better.
Yeah.
Because he had some of the most hardest, realest music from the UK.
Yeah.
Like it was shit where I could honestly play this to an American down and think, you gotta fuck with this car. I understand if grime don't get taken in as much, car. It's very gringy, it's grimy, it's UK, it's England.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's an England thing.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you got grime in Australia and Japan, all these places.
Yeah, but it's like that shit really came from the UK.
It originated from the UK, so once again, like another artist that had that fame, had that like recognition, but unlike Potter, more like Potter, when he come out of jail, he really tailored himself.
Yeah, he really just got straight back to it.
Was very, very smart with the choices he made to connect with his audience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like he connected with his audience. He didn't even waste any time in terms of just dropping music. Like he made up for lost time.
100%.
He made up for lost time, and like I wish other artists did that. I wish other artists just literally came out of jail if that's where they've been.
Yeah, 100. Because that's a situation for a lot of, not a lot of, but
because fam,
a lot of good artists.
Exactly, and it's like you don't even know if you're gonna see Freedom next week or something because of the sort of lifestyle set man live, man. And it's like if you can live this certain lifestyle, fam, and not even taking the fact that like you are actually an influential person in the scene.
Yeah,
bro, there's something seriously wrong.
Definitely wrong.
Seriously wrong.
Definitely wrong.
That is wrong. Because like. How have you got all of this? You have all this pizzazz.
It's because they get it so easy and they don't realize how valuable it is.
Exactly.
It's like you don't know what you have to till it's gone. But then even when it's gone, they're like, oh fuck that, man can pick up like I can rap any day of the week.
Yeah.
And it's maybe because they misvalue what their talent is. So just come out a bit tiny. Yeah. So the camera catches you. But yeah, man. But yeah, I like how we started from if you want to become an engineer, take that first step. I want to bring it back to because we're talking about music right now, which is good. Do you get me? Because we're in a studio. I've made loads of music here. You've made music here. A lot of sick artists have come here. But let's switch it to an artist standpoint.
So if it was from a perspective where the artist was looking to gain some more independence within his life.
Let's just say there's someone that's been rapping. He's probably gone studio a couple times. But he's so confused. Like I'll explain my situation because there's so much going on in terms of the music scene and so much you have to be expected to do now to kind of reach that top echelon or even be recognized. Obviously, you can blow off a TikTok song, but I don't think blowing off a TikTok song is what people should be thinking to do because I was explaining to my brethren, if you blow off TikTok and you get 30 mil, your next tune has to get at least 1 mil. At least 1 mil. 1 mil's not easy, bro. Let's be real. 1 mil's not easy. Like, if you look at like one of my artists, Benny the Butcher, he released his album Tanner Talk 5. A lot of them tunes on there like 2-3 mil. This guy's a huge artist with Griselda, with J. Cole. His highest streaming tune on the album is probably Johnny P's Caddy with J. Cole. That's like 30 something mil. But there's youths out here that will get 30 mil because their shit will blow. It just happens, you get me? Yeah. But then it puts them in a box where now it's like, fuck, how am I meant to match this hype?
Look at the guy that made Corvette. He's a big example. He was a big example because like fam, TikTok changed his fucking life, you know. Like TikTok really changed this guy's life. TikTok got him a collab with Uzi.
That's mad.
You know what I'm saying, fam?
That's big.
It got him a whole collab with Uzi. Then obviously his career kind of went down the hill because the whole snitching thing.
Yeah. And it's like there's so much light on you, and I don't want people to think. Like, as my advice to an artist is, don't search for the numbers and the hype and all these things. Be comfortable with the fact that you can build a genuine audience. Yeah. Like, look at Nipsey Hussle's audience. He was able to sell mixtapes, CD mixtapes with merch for like $100. I don't know the exact amount. So, people will buy that. Do you know why? Because they really fuck with his music. Yeah. But like, if you look at who can I think of? RD. Yeah. Obviously, I don't really like his music. I just think it's like it's kind of a head bop. You get me? He hasn't got that core fan group that are gonna be like, yo, I really fuck with RD. He's someone that will get played at raves and big concerts cause everyone knows him. Do you know what I'm saying? So an artist you might be an artist thinking, oh fuck, how am I gonna get all these views to compete? It depends if you're competing short term or long term.
Yes, I'm saying, and that's one question.
And that's the vision you have to accept. Whether you just want to be a quick, let me get this, and that can be a thing as well. But long term, I promise you, if you're really looking at being an artist, that longevity, having a core fan base will give you. Like, look at Kendrick. He has a very core fan base.
His fan base is very, very solid. Yeah, man. Like, from even the whole time he had been since he had dropped his last album in 2016 up to the most recent one, fam, you can tell, like, bro, the whole of social media was in an uproar when he made an announcement. You get me? And then when he's dropped his album, I won't lie, it's not his best work, but like, you can definitely hear some growth in my man.
100%.
Like, yo, you can definitely hear like, yo, for the past 4 years, probably maybe even more than that, he has really been deep in his thoughts. Yeah, man. And he's really had to come out, find some, pull it out the bag. Yeah, and Joey Badass as well. Because Joey Badass dropped 1999, and that's probably his best album ever.
Wow.
I think that's personally his best album, but then I got the one he dropped before that, his very first one.
Yeah.
And like,
you know who's up there for me as well? Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about these rappers. You might just be thinking we're talking about rappers, but these are rappers that, like I said, have these core fan bases because they've been grinding for so long. And obviously the Americans, so it's kind of, America's very more like, it's much more reactionary in the way that it's like, I don't know if reactionary is a good word, but it's explosive. Like, your shit can really blow. You know, like Central C said, up there, shameless. Around the UK, it's very, my man's this or my man's that. So, like, obviously my first bit of advice was, build that core fan base and really focus on your art rather than the numbers and everything that comes with it. And after that, just be vulnerable and be true to your creative expression. Yeah,
like, don't change yourself because someone wants you to change. Change because you feel like you need to make the change. Because if you feel like the change you're going to make is going to better your music, you as a person, or just your overall career, fam, make the change. But do not make a change for some manager or for like a handful of fans that just want to see you do that. 100. If there's one thing I'd say to an artist, fam, stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. That's the main thing about it. Stay just true to yourself, bro. There's too many people that jump into this thing and they just fade out within the next year or two.
They don't have, and it's once again, it comes back to like, they got the talent, they got the image, that a lot of these guys that look the part.
Even then, like, trust me, like, it says a lot for me to say someone has talent nowadays, fam.
100%.
It says so much. It says a lot for me to say that someone actually has talent now, I've worked with those mediocre drill rappers. I've worked with some of like the top drill rappers, like especially in Brum. And I've worked with the Odd Few in Coventry. Shout out Tino Lacken and Juggernaut. You get me? Shout out
to them. I don't know who they are, but shout out.
just some guys that man have been proper tapping in with Coventry.
Coventry's blowing up, you know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Coventry's a scene where, sorry to cut you off, but one guy I know, Mike Ray Sessions, I've been to the studio once, but he's kind of creating this social media / like just a platform where he's doing music. He's an artist himself, but he does a lot of more things like interviews, like I think something with Ray, or it's kind of creating like different segments of talking to artists, talking to the public, connecting with the public. So I feel like it's trying to build like a social media hub where it's not just an artist, but
it's revolved around Coventry.
Exactly, and it's like it's going to be bigger than Coventry, obviously, but it's really doing a lot of things and, you know, bringing a lot of different aspects of music and audience and things together. Kind of create like something like Bouncer does. Like Bouncer's very smart in the way where
he's very smart.
He'll look at opportunities and expand on them very efficiently.
He's an opportunist,
100%. And I feel like if a lot of more people on road had his mindset, which some of them do, but they just apply it to the wrong things. Yeah, the opportunists in the wrong place.
That's true.
Like you can't be an opportunist trying to just jug trap all the time. You need to learn. Like even if you're trapping or jugging, like there has to be a certain point where you're like, all right, cool, I need to shift into something else now.
Yeah, like you have to, like, fam, especially like the younger generation now, you have to sit there and realize at one point who are kids, and I'm talking to kids who are from the age of 12 up to 16, those sort of ages now. You mean to tell me like there's so many other things you could do with your life? That means you could
have freedom.
Meaning like have freedom, but also like just broaden your horizon, having new experiences as a young kid, as a teenager.
And that is so it's a catalyst, because having experiences when you're so young. Like if I was 15, not even like if I was 15, 14, coming studio, meeting people like you, and you're like you're 20 now, 15-year-old coming in. I know for a fact you'd have showed me love, car. I know what you're like anyway, but people like you anyway. I would have been like, raw. This is such an open environment. Yeah, you can really express yourself. That's one thing. All these things I'm interested in, the equipment and whatnot. It really branch out for me.
Yeah, one thing I would say is, as an engineer, fam, and I say this to other engineers as well that are trying to just get into it. Don't judge. Like, music is a thing that you don't judge.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially with the type of job that you're in.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you got a job to do, so you somehow got to find the beauty within that, or some sort of mad creativity to be able to mix that. Cause it's like,
don't compare also.
Yeah, don't compare.
Because I always say,
I've had my fair share of not the best artists, and I've had to really dig deep and find out what can I really do to make this tune
sound better.
Just sound a lot more better than what it already is.
A lot more put together, like an actual song,
man.
rather than, because I think it can feel like a very mixed up kind of thing.
Because trust me, you can have people out here that can be shit at rapping, you know, but if they have structure and know how to their cues on the beat, fam.
Yeah, that facts, big facts. You know, bro, if you know how to like layer out a song and have depth, like I said earlier, have your ad-libs in the right places, leave spaces in the right parts. Even though your voice not might be the best, the post-production will sort that out. A lot of artists, they have the voice, but they don't know how to get into the nitty-gritty of the song.
Like it's like,
and that's the skill you need to really.
And this is why I rate people. Point. Yeah, this is why I rate people like Muggs, because Muggs will dig deep, you know, and 100%. Really try and mold his voice into something else. Like, if he wants to go to that higher tone, he will. And someone else does the Glue.
Yeah, shout out Glue.
Shout out Guest Glue, because Guest Glue is another guy like Guest Glue.
Yeah, I've noticed, because I remember at Dome's cypher that I did record for, like he was like on the mic a lot of the night, and start of the night he's like, you know, deep voice, you know, talking his shit. Later on the night he's having fun, kind of coming with a party vibe, dropping the ad-libs, and I was like, man, cool, you're comfortable kind of expressing yourself how you would like.
Yeah, man.
So that's what it comes down to, man. But the last thing I want to say before I ask you another question is, don't allow yourself to compare.
Oh,
because comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah,
many things are the thief of joy, but comparison is, as a creative, is right up there.
Yeah,
like I'm a poet. Yeah, I learned one thing is, don't go up on stage and be like, you know what, his poem was fucking crazy. How am I gonna top that? It's not about topping that. He's had a whole collection of experiences, thoughts, moments to curate that. Yeah. He might have to go through like a month of fucking depression or pain and
just to write agony, another one.
Just to write what he put in front of you. Appreciate it and understand, wow, I'm amongst these great people, rather than, oh, I want to be better than that. See, that's why poetry is such an amazing thing to me, because as a poet, in music I've experienced it a lot, but in poetry I've never experienced judgment. I've never experienced arrogance.
I can't lie, when I've gone to your events, fam, it's like,
it's so open, innit?
It's open, but like, because I've just never been in that environment, and I've been in the other sort of environment from a musical standpoint where there's arrogance, egos, even jealousy, fam.
Bare jealousy.
It's like, it's kind of hard for me to go somewhere else and
not expect that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100,
but it's like
100.
when I've been in there, it's like, raw. This place is fucking positive.
Yeah,
like
man. Yeah,
this place is filled with nothing but positivity.
Like in terms of poetry, man, shout out to Empower Poetry. I'm gonna
Shout
put
out to
that there
Empower,
as well.
man.
I put our headline there. Last month I think Holly Francis. I know the other headliner, but I'm terrible with names. I'm fucking idiot. Holly Shane was one of the people that performed. He was like a singer-songwriter, but I did his first song was Lauryn Hill. He covered Lauryn Hill X Factor, which I was just gas. I'm a Lauryn Hill fanboy, so I was just there like, whoa. But yeah, man, in terms of like another thing to artists, man, if you're having troubles with songwriting and putting your content down, poetry is an amazing avenue to really get vulnerable and see what your mind is like. Yeah. Because with a song, if I put on a beat now, I have to hit every bar, so I can't say what I want to say in terms of like exactly what it is. Yeah. But with poetry, fam, there's no flow or like time. You can just write and write and write, and that will really allow you to kind of create something much more effective in terms of how you're trying to hit the point. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So shout out to Kohino and Ryan and Power Poetry taking over Brum. You know, honestly, one of the best events in Birmingham. You know, shout out RVJ. He just had his event in Brum recently. One of the best Jamaican poets. You know, so much depth to his poetry as well. So much emotion. And shout out Ade from London. Shout out. I mean, he dropped a track called "Medicine for the Soul" on Spotify. And this is what I'm saying. Poetry is really starting to become mainstream, and there's a gap between poetry and music, which has become bridged. I'm seeing poetry on Spotify regularly, and it's like, it's really like music. But it's like so much more different. It's still poetry, of course.
Like a lot more spoken word.
What are you saying about? Sorry, continue.
No, I was just saying it's a lot more spoken word, and I feel like you can just really talk your shit on that sort of stuff. Because that's something I wanted to get myself into. But
definitely, man.
It's a stepping stone. But what was you saying?
Just come this way. But yeah, in terms of my next question is, and this is you can answer it first. Okay. Top 5 albums of all time for you. It don't have to be the top 5 you'll give me next week, but right now, what you can think of in terms of top 5. I can go first if you have time to think, because I kind of have my top 5 kind of accumulated in my head.
You go first.
All right, so no particular order. Well, I'll put number 1. I'll give number 1. The best album for me is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Like, that's an album where, honestly, I could be sad, happy, any emotion, I could put that album on. Once again, depth to her music. She's a musician as well, so it's like
a real musician.
So we're just exactly talking about very harsh, interesting topics.
It's real life, because I feel like, man, some people live in like a mad fantasy world in terms of music that like you forget that you're fucking human and you actually have human problems.
Exactly,
and
bro.
People your fans in itself have the same problems,
and the rappers become so obsessed with his lifestyle and they talk about that. But yeah, Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. See, I said I knew mine, but I don't know now. I definitely put Carter 5 up there. For me, like, obviously there's other better Lil Wayne albums.
I've always been a fan of Lil Wayne.
But for me, the Carter 5, like, some of the songs on there, Dedicate, Don't Cry, Dark Side of the Moon, Let It All, what was it? Let It All Pass. I forgot the name of the song. Something about Let It All Pass Out or Let It All Out or something. It's the outro on the album. Yeah, Not on the deluxe. Let It All Out, that's it. Let It All Out. Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
With Kendrick. That song's fucking crazy. Let It Fly, with Travis Scott. The album, like, once again, so much depth, so much skill he's kind of shown. After him, Graduation by Kanye.
Yeah, that's literally.
That is a fucking banging, like, probably one of the most sonically, well, you know, My Dark Twisted Fantasy is sonically up there.
Yeah.
And oh, you know what? I'm gonna give 2 spots to Kanye. I'm sorry.
Go on.
So it's gonna be Graduation, because, you know, tracks like I Wonder, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Everything I Am, Good Morning, Champion.
Literally.
You know, yo, how
like, there's just so many bangers. There's just so many.
Every song is a banger.
Bangers.
It's fucking incredible. Power. But not recently, the past 2-3 years, I've been really going through the Ye album with PND, Ghost Town, Victims, Wouldn't Leave. I Thought About Killing You.
Yeah.
See, that that's an album where you look at it and it's like, this is really some creative fucking shit right here. Because like it's so inspiring. And P&D and Kanye's collab is just mad. But cool. My last album, because I can't disrespect the greatest of New York City to ever live, gotta go with Hove. Reasonable Doubt. God, just can't miss with that one.
You can't miss.
I mean, Dead Presidents.
Yeah.
22 Twos, D Devils. Like, you know, that list goes on, and you can listen to these tracks. But that's my 5. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to put Hove in there. And Reasonable Doubt's like some OG shit, man.
Yeah.
I could have said The Blueprint, the Black Album, but I'll sleep with Reasonable Doubt. I like that one.
Okay, then.
Let me hear yours.
My next 5, it's in no particular order, but I would give number 5 to XXXTentacion.
Oh, I forgot.
17.
Come this way, man. This guy's hiding from the camera.
Sorry, I'd give it to XXXTentacion for his first studio album, 17. The frame of mind he was in and what he was going through. And even where he did this whole album in his house, you know, on house arrest.
Really?
Just did the whole album just in his room, house arrest.
That's crazy, bro.
It's like,
no, I should have put X in mine, but I just forgot.
The fact that you sat there for probably like over a year, you know, just on house arrest. And it's like he couldn't leave his house, bro. And it's like, bro, you really left with nothing but your thoughts, and you really did that. You did that.
Yeah.
My number 4 spot would have to go to Juice WRLD.